U.S. President Donald Trump has warned that if American courts strike down his tariff policy, it could result in the economic ruination of the United States of America. Trump said that in such a scenario, other countries could use anti-American tariffs to hold the United States hostage. If the courts somehow rule against us on tariffs, which is not expected, that would allow other countries to hold our nation hostage with their anti-American tariffs that they would use against us. This would mean the economic ruination of the United States of America, Donald Trump posted on Truth Social. If the courts somehow rule against us on tariffs, which is not expected, that would allow other countries to hold our nation hostage with their anti-American tariffs that they would use against us. This would mean the economic ruination of the United States of America. Trump's warning came shortly after a major legal development. A federal appeals court in Washington reinstated his administration's tariffs on foreign imports just one day after the U.S. Court of International Trade had ruled that Trump had overstepped his authority under emergency powers. The U.S. Court of Appeals for the Federal Circuit issued a temporary stay on the lower court's decision. This means that the tariffs first announced on April 2nd, which Trump called Liberation Day tariffs, remain in place while the government proceeds with an appeal. In early April, Trump had announced a sweeping set of tariffs, claiming that the U.S. trade deficit amounted to a national emergency. His plan included a 10% tax on all imports. Countries like China, which run large trade surpluses with the United States, were targeted with even higher tariff rates. However, many of these proposed tariffs were quickly paused. On May 12th, the White House announced that it would scale back the harshest tariffs on China while trying to reach a new trade agreement. Both the United States and China agreed to reduce tariffs on each other temporarily for at least 90 days.
We have reached an agreement on a 90-day pause and substantially moved down the tariff levels. Both sides on the reciprocal tariffs will move their tariffs down 115%. We had very robust discussions. Both sides showed great respect. It was a chance for me to meet the Chinese delegation. The vice premier I had previously had only a video call with. Ambassador Jameson was familiar with two of the other leaders on the delegation from his previous time. So there was very good personal interaction. Both countries represented their national interests very well. We concluded that we have shared interest, and we both have an interest in balanced trade. The U.S. will continue moving towards that. I will let Ambassador Jameson talk about the President's initiatives that began on a historic trade announcement on January 20th, which no other president has ever done, following to April 2nd, when we implemented the reciprocal tariffs.
Thank you, Secretary, and I will echo your thanks to the Swiss government and Swiss officials for hosting us this weekend. The atmosphere was very conducive to discussions, and thanks to them, we were able to have very constructive and positive conversations with our Chinese counterparts, who clearly came to deal this week. The rapid nature that we were able to conduct and conclude these discussions is a testament to mutual understanding and mutual respect between the Chinese and U.S. sides. With respect to the The U.S. Trade position, our interactions with China, and the agreement today. Please keep in mind that the United States trade deficit has ballooned over the past several years, ending up at $1.2 trillion deficit in goods as of the end of last year, which was an approximately 42% increase over a few years prior, when there was an $850 billion trade deficit at the beginning of the Biden administration. So that is a rapid and expansive increase in the trade deficit. And our view is that this is driven in large part by non-reciprocal trade, among other things, and the result has been offshoring of manufacturing and other negative impacts on the U.S. economy.
Also, after U.S. court blocked Trump's tariffs, the White House hit back hard. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt blasted the courts for ignoring decades of offshoring and vowed to push ahead with the America First agenda.
I wanted to ask you about, has the president spoken to any of these foreign leaders about these agreements that have been reached, specifically the case of the United Kingdom that already has an agreement in place after this decision of the court in New York?
Has the president talked to foreign leaders about what?
About the court decision in New York.
Which court decision in New York?
The trade court.
Oh, the trade court decision. He did speak to the leader of Japan this morning, and he said that was a very good call and a good discussion. And as I said, the president's cabinet, Secretary Lutnick, Secretary Bessent, and Ambassador Jameson Greer have all been in touch with their counterparts in countries around the world to let them know the United States will still be at the negotiating table, and we still expect countries around the world to treat us fairly. Again, I will just close by saying that how ridiculous it is that we've been ripped off, our middle class has been hollowed out, our manufacturing base has left and gone overseas, jobs have been offshored, and now no court did anything about that. No court did anything about hundreds of thousands of people being put out of work, about thousands of factories being closed down, about our deficits going to dangerous levels, as the New York Times has said. But now a court is trying to stop a president from trying to correct those wrongs of the past. And this administration will continue to do that. It's a promise the president made to the American people, and it's a promise they elected him on. We will win this battle in court, and the president will implement his America First trade policies.